I know, season 2 or the rest of it is going to be fascinating. The way you're going to go right up to the precipice of Rogue One.
Yeah.
We know what happens to you.
Yes.
But I'm wondering if there could be a prequel to a prequel to a prequel. We could just keep going backwards.
I mean, sadly, it's impossible, man. Sadly, every morning I look at myself in the mirror, I go like, oh no, it definitely time has passed. You know?
Who else knows
About what?
that you were born in Canary?
You don't want to hear what happened?
We'll get to that, but who knows? Who have we told?
I don't know.
We have always said Fest. Every doc I've ever submitted has always said you were born on Fest. Have you ever said anything other than Fest?
Officially, no, I don't think so, but people, yes.
Who?
And so do you.
Well, how many?
I don't know. It's not something I've been keeping track of.
Well, everyone I've told is dead.
That's ridiculous. Jesse, Samo, huh?
That's family.
If we're making a list, we're making a list.
Well, it's all your women I'm worried about.
Oh, come on, please.
Femi, Carla,
Stop,
Sundry.
stop!
There's something I don't even know.
Baba Vix.
Vix has nothing to do with
Well,
this.
then who told these primo bastards about Canary?
That would be me.
Welcome to the Actor's Side. Today you've seen him in so many movies, television, on and on that he's done in his career. And now, back as Cassian Andor in the Disney Plus series Andor. So exciting that there's a second season coming too. Welcome, Diego Luna. Welcome
Thank you
to
very
the
much.
Actor's
Thank you
Side.
for having me here. Happy to be here.
I have to ask you about this series, taking it on. Obviously, you were in the movie Rogue One, and you know this character, and then suddenly you get the opportunity to come into a television series, 24 episodes before you're done.
Yeah.
Still exploring him 5 years earlier and doing it. And as an actor, I know a lot of actors create backstories for their characters. They have a place where they think they've been that may not be in the script or anything. Did you have an idea of where he came from?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I obviously had to do that. You always have to do that. You have to find what triggers the decisions the character makes on the script, and they're always related to where you come from, your context, and it's interesting because, I mean, I obviously had no clue to what Tony Gilroy was going to write.
Right.
But in essence, it's there. It's the story of a refugee, of someone that has been forced to migrate. More than once. Someone that is on his DNA has this feeling of being taken everything away from him,
right.
Everything, and when we find him in Andor, these 5 years prior Rogue One,
prequel to a prequel.
Exactly. I keep just like working in prequels. It's ridiculous, yeah. But it is what we find is that he has a chosen family, right? His mother, his friends, his family, everyone. Like it's just it's relations he started, and it's that says a lot about the character,
Right.
about the openness of starting again, starting again is like the main theme of his life,
Exactly. He starts in a very dark place.
Yes, he does.
So when you played him originally and, we're thinking of this backstory, you are also a producer on this show as well. So did you have input with Tony? Did you say, look, I played him and I sort of have some ideas?
Obviously, I love collaboration, and Tony is a writer that understands collaboration like no other writer. I remember there was a phone call. Kathleen Kennedy told me like, I want you to talk to Tony. Tony might be just the right person to do this, and he has ideas, and you should talk to him. And we had a conversation, a 20-30 minute conversation where he said, like, look, let me tell you what I have in mind. Let me pitch you what I would like to do with this series, because you need to be on board.
Right.
If you like this, I'll go write it. If you don't, then just tell me now. You
Right.
know, like he is. I know you,
Yeah.
you just interview him, so like, tell me now. If not, I'll go do something else. Right. And I go like, okay, tell me, man.
I don't need to write 24 scripts.
Tell me. And he starts talking, and it's just fascinating, his perspective and the plans he had for this character and the structure that he came up with. It just was perfect, you know. And it's beautiful, because when that was written, it was kind of like I own it somehow, you know.
Yeah.
Tony is not like one of those writers that it's all about secrecy, you know, and I won't tell you my stories until it's written and you can read it. And no, Tony is happy to open the conversation and listen to others, you know. He sits down with the production designer and they design the place before he writes for the place.
Right.
Therefore, the production designer is also involved in the writing, you know. So by the moment there's a script, it's a script that the actor is part of, the production designer is part of, the producer on set is part of, the musician is part of. Like they started making music before we went on shooting, for example. You know, like that episode 12. That music,
Right.
That music, it was playing when we were shooting, you know.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So-
Well, it's a true collaboration then between all these departments. For you as an actor, it's important to.
It is very important as an actor, more when you do science fiction and you happen to be in this galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
You have to understand what's going to be the context of your character. You have to get used to that, because one of the premises of this show is it has to feel real.
Right.
It needs to be happening. You need to have the feeling as audience that you're sneaking into the life of someone that you can touch, that it's there, you know. And like Tony loves saying, we can't be playing the costume, you know.
Right.
It's not about that. This is just real people, because we're talking about a revolution, and revolutions are made by the people.
Yeah.
Therefore, we're gonna see the lives of these people, and we have to believe in everything we see. So as an actor, being part of the process from the beginning is a big difference, you know.
Okay.
I get to see the designs. I sit down with the costume designer and see all his ideas, touch the fabrics. I don't know, I have so many fittings, more fittings than rehearsals, but it matters, because the costume has to feel realistic. If there's a pocket, there has to be a need for that pocket.
Right. Yeah,
Otherwise, let's get rid of the pocket, you know. If with the props department, I mean, everything we're using, you have to get used to that, because it has to feel that is a tool you've used your whole life, you know. And I think there's a lot of work of many people to make this happen, and as an actor, being a producer is the big difference, you know, because I have
you're
time
a writer
to digest.
and director yourself. You,
I
you
like-
know this from
yeah.
the other side. You've been doing this a long time on all aspects of it.
I enjoy a lot witnessing the process of others, you know. It's very inspiring, and it helps me a lot. And after I directed, I believe I am a better actor for
That's interesting.
for others, you know. Also, I understand that this is all about collaboration. A job like this is about everyone being ready at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, there's no point on being ready before nor after. You know, it's about all of us getting there, because also television, I mean, it's crazy. We're doing 12 episodes, as you said, you know, so that's like 4 movies
For
basically.
one season, yeah,
you know?
24 all. This is a 2.
The 2 seasons will be 8 movies. Yeah. So we are shooting like, even though it's a gigantic production, we're shooting like an independent film, you know. We're shooting really fast. So everyone has to bring their A game, and it's all about information. It's all about confidence, uncertainty, and and Tony is a writer that helps actors with that, you know. Every question is answered, you know. And since we are shooting not in order, obviously, it's really important to be able to go to the writer and say, like, okay, so just remind me, why am I doing this and what just happened there? And Tony's always there for us, so it makes this job
Makes it easier.
enjoyable.
I'm
Also.
curious if your early training, you started at a very young age in telenovelas, which is also fast television every day, you know, doing that kind of work. Did that prepare you as an actor for everything going forward, or was
No.
that an aberration? Was that
No,
just
no.
something else?
That prepared me to get used to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and be on time on set, be nice to everyone around. The
okay.
whole, I mean, it did prepare me. Like it's part of who I am.
Right.
But it has nothing to do with the way we approach this job. I think this to me is like. It's like doing many films, you know, and it has that kind of like feeling because, so the first season is 12 episodes,
Right.
and we break it into 4 blocks.
Yeah.
Okay, each block has a director.
Yeah.
So each director comes in for 3 episodes that have a connection, a beginning and an end, you know, on a
Right.
way. And you approach that because also in this show, we don't want directors to come and repeat what others did. It's all about your vision, bringing your voice and making sure the show grows with your perspective, right?
Yeah.
So on a way, it has the structure of 4 films. And when you think about who's behind the show, you know, I mean, it's just people that we're used to do film.
Right.
And we think in film.
Well, it
you
comes
know?
out of cinema. I mean, this whole thing was
It comes
part-
out of cinema. This one in particular comes out of Rogue One, that has a beginning and an end. It's
Right.
not even part of the saga, you know. And if you talk about Tony Gilroy's work, it's always film. My work, I mean, Kathy Kennedy's work, like we are learning to speak this new language, but we ended up going into a territory that we know, you know, and led by the amazing Sana, who's the producer, and she's on set making sure the 4 movies happen at the same time, right? But that structure helps you also not get lost. You know, so your conversation with the director, the one you see every day on set, it's about those 3 episodes, and you can concentrate in that, and then move to the next, and then the next. You know.
You know, it's interesting. You've had a very interesting career. You do so many different things too, and you know, when I talk about some of the films that you've done, you've worked with these amazing directors in the past. You know,
I've been very lucky. Yeah.
The Terminal, that was Steven Spielberg. You know,
Yeah.
you can't get better than that. And Open Range was a Western I particularly liked that Kevin Costner did.
Yeah.
Frida was a great movie. Milk, I mean, you go on here. You know, do you learn from each one of these movies that you get into, everything that you do here? Does it add to you as an artist?
Definitely, because for me, each movie is an opportunity to learn the process, a different approach. For me, movies are about a perspective, the point of view of a director, you know. I learned about that integrity that film has, you know.
Right.
It's about this perspective, and we're all here to support it and to elevate that.
Yeah.
And I grew up, first of all, I started doing theater when I was really young because of my father. He was a set designer and a lighting designer in opera and theater. So I started doing theater, then I started doing TV and cinema, and then one day I concentrated in cinema and theater. So now that TV is back in this different form,
Right.
you know, for me it's an opportunity to bring all that kind of like knowledge from film, that rigor, that commitment, and not to be cynical, and really use this new platform just to have more time as actors to explore characters, but to do content that has that integrity that film has, you know. And and every time I've worked with a great director, it's about learning a new language. It's about and finding the best way I could be useful for them. And then one day I decided I want to start directing my own stuff. Because I feel it's very, and it happens often. It's very dangerous that actors want to start directing from the position of the actor.
Oh yeah.
Which is very dangerous and completely wrong,
Yeah.
So I said, I'm gonna do my own stuff.
Right.
Therefore, I can be a better actor when someone needs me and asks me
Right.
to join, And I think that's why I'm enjoying this show so much, because I get to also act with probably the best actors, today.
Amazing.
We have this amazing cast. So rich, everyone comes and brings something, and it's delightful to just wake up and go to this set.
What's in the water in Mexico? I have to say, you and Gael Garcia, I know you grew up together and you've done
Yeah.
such amazing stuff separately together, starting with Cuarón's Y Tu Mama También and everything else. And then, speaking of that, Cuarón, Del Toro, Iñárritu, they've taken over
Yeah.
the business. And you guys, I mean, what was the opportunity at this time, in this history that has made Mexican cinema so universal and internationally successful?
I think two things. Geographically, we are just like it's the longest border between a country like the States and a country like Mexico.
Yeah.
I don't want to tag or put names on that, but it's basically the proximity to the States and the lack of opportunity in our country. The struggle that brings voices, strong voices. That asks and demands for your creativity to find a way. And it definitely has brought a lot of interesting voices today to cinema, but not just cinema. I would say music and
Yeah.
every form of art has great representation from Mexico. Young and obviously Alfonso, Alejandro, and Guillermo, they mean a lot because they were reference for many of us.
Right.
That today we're doing stuff in Mexico and out of Mexico. Also, things are changing.
Yeah.
Today, that thing of you needing to travel, to bring your work somewhere else to find an audience. Well, today is not so important. Today, specific small stuff can travel. Can become universal because of these new tools we have these days.
That's
so
true.
it's good times for creativity, and it's good times, I think, for Mexican voices to find more and more audiences. Yeah.
Did you left Hollywood, as it were, and moved back
Yeah.
to Mexico, like around 2013, I think, or something?
I came here and I had my first. My son is a Mexican American. He was born here, and then my daughter was born in Mexico. But I'll tell you this. I mean, the few years I lived here is probably the time I worked the less in the States.
Oh, really?
I just, for me, it's been clear that I have to be wherever I feel I can be telling my own story, wherever I feel I can be creating and generating my own opportunities. And then things have happened around, when someone needs you, they'll find you.
Right.
But even as a theater actor, there's a lot I can be making happen in Mexico, as a filmmaker as a producer. We have a documentary film festival in Mexico. We have a company that produces film and TV and theater. I have my friends, family. That's where my core is, And the beauty of this job is that I can go work, collaborate with people that live in another context, and then come already transformed to mine to be even more helpful to do other stuff.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, the world is your oyster is the phrase they use here. Anywhere. You've been shooting this in London.
I've been shooting in London. I've been spending time there. I just recently traveled with a theater play. I was in Spain for a while. With that play, I went to Colombia too. I did it in Mexico. I've been working in the States too. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. When I choose to live in one place, work takes me somewhere else. So I decided, like, my home is always going to be Mexico, and I'll get to be wherever my job takes me to. But if I need to go back home, it'll be Mexico, always Mexico.
I think you won an Emmy for hosting a talk show, right? There's nothing you don't do.
I have a lovely show called Bread and Circus, Pan y Circo, and it's we cook dinner and we discuss issues that matter to me and others, and we put people that think differently and hope to make food help them find a common ground,
Right.
And it's been very successful. It's on Amazon. You can watch it, and it's something I also love doing. I don't like settling.
Right.
Comfort is very dangerous for me. So yeah.
You like doing anything different. I have to ask you before we go, you worked with Will Ferrell in a Spanish language movie, a very funny one, Casa de mi Padre.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
what was that like? Because he's married to a Swedish wife, but I don't know that he spoke Spanish very well.
He didn't. He's a very committed actor, and he worked hard to. I would tell you that is probably the comedy where he had the less fun in his life. Yes, because the best impros he would do is when they were silent, right? But my God, he had to work on those words like non-stop. So he would be in the corner sitting all day like trying to. But he achieved it. I mean, he did fantastically. I was so pleased to work with him. I've enjoyed his work so much, and he was such a sweet man, and his whole team, everyone working with him, they're nice people.
Amazing, amazing. Also, before we go, I have to ask you, you are also no stranger to fan adoration, to being stopped everywhere you go from a very young age, and then you get into Star Wars world. Is that a different kind of fandom? It's such a unique kind of
It is
place.
a very different fandom. It can't be compared to anything, and I am just thankful, because the level of love around this project, the expectation, and people really wanting the show to be good, and they're there for you. I've been in a few events, the Star Wars celebrations and D23, and it's just always so, important, to be there and witness that, because it reminds us that what we do matters, and matters a lot to these people, and that's paradise, right? I mean, like that you work in something that people wants to see, and that people cares about, and that they have an opinion, and that they'll support you and navigate this with you. It's beautiful. I mean, sometimes this is a very lonely journey, and definitely with Rogue One, but more with Andor. I've enjoyed it more with Andor, because in Rogue One I didn't know what it was when I was shooting till we came out. I realized, and now I really feel blessed, for being part of this.
Well, it's an amazing thing, and I know, season 2 or the rest of it is going to be fascinating. The way you're going to go right up to the precipice of Rogue One.
Yeah.
We know what happens to you.
Yes.
But I'm wondering if there could be a prequel to a prequel to a prequel. We could just keep going backwards.
I mean, Sadly, it's impossible, man. Sadly, every morning I look at myself in the mirror, I go like, oh no, it definitely time has passed. You know? It's I mean, now I'm focused on this second part, as we like to call it, because it's the last one, the second part of Andor. But we still have good 2 years of work ahead of us, you know. So I don't know. We'll talk in 2 years.
Okay, we will. Thanks for talking now, though.
Thank you very
Diego
much.
Luna, thank you for joining me on the Actors Side.
Thank you for having me.